Alrighty guys, this is Mr. Jacobs. I am here with Mrs. Seitzma and we're preparing for the wearables, okay? So this is what we're going to be doing. This right here is an Arduino. You guys are pretty used to Arduinos. You are not used to them in this form right here. Nice little round form. The cool thing is that you can use conductive thread. Where's the conductive thread? She'll grab it for you in a second. So, use conductive thread, which has actually stainless steel in it. So instead of using wires, we're going to use conductive thread. You guys are quite used to a lot of this, but we also have here, you have your negative right here, so that's going to be your ground wire. That's going to go to the black wire on your battery or battery case, which is right here. So eventually this wire here is going to go, the black one's going to go onto the negative. The red one will go onto the positive. You're going to hook it up to your computer through here, and then you have all of these pins to be able to use. Looks like there's 13 digital pins, and just like what you're used to, there's 5 analog pins. We're going to be using mostly the digital pins. I have also found that I have liked keeping it between 3 and 9. 3 and 9. I found that those pins work much better. For some reason, if you're using 10, 11, 12, or 13, there's a red light here that pops up and it wears down your battery and it kind of slows things down. So try not to use 1 or 2 because that's really output and input pins. So 3 through 9 is what I would suggest using. Okay. We have, which I not even know existed, but we have an embroidery hoop. This is news to me. Okay, we're going to be using this wonderful T-shirt, "Girls with a Cause." We're going to be putting an LED in each of this girl's hands. Is what we're going to be doing. So I marked out where we want the LEDs with chalk. Marked it out on the inside as well. You're going to want to figure out where you want the Arduino, which I lost, and the battery. Mrs. Seitzma is going to go ahead. She's going to anchor down the Arduino right about here. Okay, we're going to have 2 circuits. One circuit, we'll probably use pin 4, going to the LED, coming back to the ground. Then I think I'll probably use pin 8, go to the LED, and come back. Oops, sorry. And then we can come around this way to the negative as well. One important thing, and you guys are going to see this over and over and over again, the thread is not like the wires. The wires have insulated coating around them. The thread does not. And so the thread, if you cross 2 threads, they will short each other out. You'll either have lights that don't work, or they're going to be blinking when they're not supposed to be blinking. Okay? So yeah, we'll take care of that in a second, but first Mrs. Seitzma is going to go ahead and anchor the sucker down.
All right. So one of the things that you're going to want to do is when you get your single strand of thread, if you fold it in half, this might be a little bit hard to see, but if you fold it in half, you're looking to create a loop here. You take your needle, you put your thread around, you go ahead and just pinch it, pull it out, and slide it through. And this is going to give you 2 strands. Really pinch those tails so you're not losing your thread. When I take this and anchor it down, what I want to do is slide my needle through, and I'm going to pull it through until I see a loop at the top. Once I've got that loop, I'm just going to kind of hold it down there, and we'll come back up through the fabric really close by. And as you get close to that loop there, you're going to take your needle and you're going to slide it through. That's going to give you an anchor where you don't need to have then a knot. It'll just hold through that loop. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through this a couple of times. The other thing that I want you to make sure of is that when you're sewing this down, really bunch up that fabric right here so that you're not actually sewing into that. That's a real bummer because you're going to find out that your project now looks all cattywampus. All right. So once you have it hooked there, if you come around, I'm going to hook this kind of like a Y. One thing that you'll find with your 2nd grade sewers too is that if you work from one side of the fabric, So if you're on this side and you push your needle toward, your second grader can pull that from you, and then they can go ahead and bring that down and push it through to you so that you can pull it through on this side. Well, that's kind of the way that that's going to work well. One of the things you're going to want to notice is the other side of your fabric and what's happening over there. This is not very pretty on the other side right now, which is something for us to notice too. If you look at this, I've got a big old white thread there. We're using white thread to show you today what it looks like. Gray thread, that might be okay in there, so that you're not having to look at white thread all over the top of your design. It'll just look a little bit better. And then you're going to go ahead and swing over here, anchor that down. If you look, is that going to get in the way?
If you flip it under, it'll be fine.
Okay, so not here.
Yeah, not on top. We just have to be able to
Okay.
get to those pins is all.
Yep. So aesthetically, when you're using the thread on the opposite side, you're going to end up with something that's maybe not as nice looking.
Well, could they just
On this
tie
side.
it off, anchor a point, tie it off, go to
Yeah.
somewhere else and
You could
do it?
anchor a point and tie it off so that you avoid that. You'll just have two little loops. So if you're anchoring it and tying it off, what you'll want to do is take your needle, slide it underneath. You're going to pull it through. You're creating another loop. And then go ahead and run through that loop and just pull it tight. And now you've got a knot. Maybe do that one more time. Make a loop. Pull it through. And now you've got another knot. And then you can go ahead and just tie that off. I think that looks a little better.
That's perfect.
Do we need to do that last one?
Alrighty. We'll pause the camera.
Lovely.